G'day. In this video, I'm going to show you the easy way to learn portrait lighting. I wish I knew this when I started out. Lighting to a photographer is like clay to a sculptor. It's the medium that we work in. And building lighting skills as a photographer is one of the quickest ways to progress your work. The key to this easy way of learning portrait lighting is studying catchlights. Catchlights are those tiny little white shapes that you see in the eyes of a portrait. You can see the catchlights in my eyes at the moment. I'm being lit by a GVM panel light. You can see the reflection of that GVM panel light in my eyes. So you can see what sort of lighting I'm using in this video. Catchlights do a couple of things in a photographic portrait. Firstly, they attract attention to the eyes. Those little bright spots give some sparkle to the eyes and pull the viewer's attention straight into those eyes. Without those catchlights, the eyes tend to look dull. I'm not saying you should always have catchlights, but most of the time your images will benefit by having those catchlights in the eyes. The other thing they do is they mirror the type of lighting that the photographer's used in that particular portrait. So if you see an image that you like the lighting on that face, check out those catchlights in the eyes, because that's going to show you exactly what sort of lighting the photographer's used. It's not going to help so much with backlighting or rim lighting because those lights are behind the subject. They're not going to reflect in the eyes. But the most important lighting we use on the face is a key light or a frontal light. Now, the surface of a human eye is very reflective. The human eye is a convex shape, so it's not exactly like a mirror. It's a bit like a convex mirror. Things appear slightly different, slightly out of shape, but you can still see what's reflected in those eyes. You can see here, the lighting reflected in the eyes of the subject is fairly obvious. By looking at those catchlights, you will be able to see the shape of the light, the size of the light, the position of it, how many lights are there in the scene. Even with natural light shots, you can see how the subject has been lit because the environment in front of the subject is going to be reflected in those catchlights. Some photographers I hear talk about they place lights in a particular place for a portrait because they like the catchlights to be in the upper right-hand side, or they like round catchlights because they look better. I think that's wrong. I think that's a backward way of thinking. Catchlights to me are a consequence of good lighting. I'm looking first of all to put those lights in a position that achieves the results I'm looking for. If I want to make people look good, I tend to use particular lighting. If I want to make people look a bit more characterful or a bit more scary, I will put those lights in a position that's going to work for that sort of light falling on their face. Those catchlights are simply a consequence of those lights that I put in front of my subject. If you learn effective lighting skills, then those catchlights will just take care of themselves. At the end of this video, you'll see me create a custom catchlight in my model's eye. The way that we can manipulate those catchlights to give us something a little bit special. So have a look out for that at the end of the video. So if you're looking through a magazine or any sort of online photography forums, if you're watching TV or you're watching a movie, in the close-up shots, you'll be able to see those catchlights in the subject's eye. You'll be able to see what sort of lighting the photographer or the videographer has used. So you're going to learn a lot about lighting by simply studying those catchlights. It's probably going to ruin any viewing that you might have in the future because you're going to be concentrating on those catchlights, but that's what being a photographer is all about. Now, in this series of images I'm going to show you, I'm going to highlight those catchlights in the eyes. I'm going to show you the way the subject is lit, the way the portrait is lit, and you'll see the catchlights reflect that lighting in the eyes. So have a look at all of these. I'll explain it over the top as we go, but hopefully you'll learn a lot about the lighting that I use in my shots. I don't use a lot of lights in my scenes. I tend to use 1 or 2 or maybe 3 lights maximum to light the front of my subject. But a lot of photographers might use 8, 9, 10 lights. And in their subjects, you can see 8, 9 or 10 catchlights. So you can see how they use those lights to achieve the results that they get. Have a look at some of these shots of mine. Many of these images have been reduced to social media size. So forgive me if they're not perfectly sharp, but you'll still get the idea. Some of them I have enlarged because the catchlights are reasonably small. So if you can't see the catchlights in the image, You can probably view them on a larger screen if you need to. All of these images have got a round softbox. We can see the round softbox in the eye. We can see that it's positioned on the right-hand side of this shot of Maxine. This one's down bottom left because we're shooting down on the model. In a shot like this, we have it positioned over to the right-hand side. You can see the round catchlight in this eye. It's directly frontal onto Bethy in this particular shot. This one of Maxine, it's a little bit further over to the right-hand side. And this wider outdoor shoot of Rachel in the surf, we're using that large softbox again. You can see by the angle of the light on her face. Similarly with this one, a wider shot, but the round softbox has been used pretty much directly camera right. Here we have a wider shot of Maxine once again, with that large softbox reflected in her eye. Her face is turned towards the light so that we can get that beautiful light on her face. Now we're moving to umbrella shots. This is a large umbrella, a similar size to the previous softbox, but we can see from the reflection in the eyes that it's an umbrella. Depending on how close we have the brolly to our subject, the catchlight will be larger or smaller. In this shot, we've got the light further around, maybe 40 degrees camera left, shining back onto her face. This one similarly, the same sort of position, but it's a little bit further around to the right to get that beautiful 3/4 frontal light on her face. These shots were taken with the beauty dish. We can see the beauty dish has been used because we can see that little dark spot in the middle of the catchlight. That indicates that a beauty dish has been used, similar to this situation. Now we have a square softbox. The square light gives us a slightly different look to the shot, but it allows us to do other things. I started off with a square softbox, so a lot of these are older shots, so we can see that that square softbox has been positioned either camera right or camera left, and generally speaking, the model's nose is pointed towards the light. In these two shots, you can see the effect of moving the light from far round to the left, round further next to the camera to give us a different sort of lighting on the face. All of these shots have had that square softbox in various different positions, generally close camera right, but this shot you can see Paige is looking up, so we've got her nose pointing directly at that light. More of a frontal light here, the single square softbox, very soft, beautiful frontal beauty light. Now we move on to clamshell lighting. Clamshell lighting, as you can see from these catchlights, is one light over the top of another one. The top light is the main light, the bottom light helps to fill in light underneath the shadow areas. It's a very flattering beauty lighting because we're getting a really nice overall frontal light on that face. Sometimes we can move that clamshell lighting off to the side, sometimes we can shift those lights a little bit further apart. This is horizontal clamshell lighting. When we have horizontal clamshell lighting, we have lights side by side. The same lights, but the idea is that we have that larger light source, or apparently larger light source, that we can shoot our camera through the middle. And that gives us a very frontal light, very beautiful light, very soft light. You can see in the bubbles here, that light is reflected in the bubbles. Now, when we've got horizontal clamshell lighting, it does tend to fill out the face a little bit more. So you've got to be careful with the facial features of the subject that you're shooting, but it works beautifully. Here we have a strip box. You can see that strip box reflected in the eyes of Pazzy. Here we've got two strip boxes side by side, shooting straight through the middle for a very high key effect. And this shot of Ivan, we've got that strip light around to the right-hand side for a more aggressive sort of a side light on his face. This shot again with the strip box up a little bit higher to give us a little bit more modelling on that face and under the chin. Now we're shooting outdoors. We've got the location reflected in Claire's eyes here. The same thing here. You can actually see me standing there, taking the photograph, the reflection in the eye. This is very indicative of the technique I'm talking about. Those eyes reflect the environment all around, so we can see the sky, we can see the landscape. We can also see often the photographer or people hanging around when we've been taking these shots. Here we have window light. The window is reflected in Jesse's eye. Here we have the same sort of thing reflected in the left-hand side of the eye. The window is reflected in that catchlight particularly because Maxine has very dark brown eyes. The reflection is more prominent. Here we're using on-camera flash to supplement the daylight. You can see that bright, tiny little catchlight in the center of the eye. That indicates that that flash is coming directly from the camera position. So it's on-camera flash. I love using on-camera flash for these sort of situations. Again, see, you can see the sky, you can see the flash in the middle of the eye there. That's indicating that we've used on-camera flash for these shots. Now we're doing some light painting. Now, light painting is a little bit more difficult to see because the torch is in a single position, so we tend just to get that single spot in the middle of the eye. It's very similar to a hard light or an on-camera flash sort of a look. Now we can see the use of a reflector underneath that main light. The reflector is more dull than the main light because it doesn't reflect as much light as the main light, but it gives us that bounce light back up into our subject's face. We can use various different shape reflectors. Here we've got no reflector, and now you can see the difference that the reflector makes, bouncing that light back up into Shana's face. You can see the difference in the catchlight as well. When we're shooting around water, the water provides that reflection up into the face. We've got a natural reflection from the water bouncing back up into that face. Here we have two lights, two reflectors. All of this stuff is reflected in the subject's eyes. You can see exactly what lighting I've used in all of these shots. I've explained to you how we get those catchlights because the eye is a reflective surface. Now, when we have other reflective surfaces in our image, such as glasses or sunglasses, sometimes this can be a problem because we get those lights reflected in the glasses as we have here, and that can be an issue, it can be a distraction. But it can also be a possibility. In these shots, I've used the light and my assistant in front of the light to give me that unique catchlight in the sunglasses in these shots. Now I thought that I could extend this principle to actual catchlights in my model's eye. So in this video I'm going to show you, we're going to create a custom catchlight of a photographer in front of a light in the catchlight of this model's eye. Have a look at how we do it. I'm not 100% satisfied with the results, but they're good enough to show you that it is possible, that you can do the same sort of thing. So by extending this technique with the sunglasses, we can produce a custom catchlight in our model's eye. Have a look at this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and manipulate the catchlight in Shay's eye so that I can get a picture in that eye, just as a little bit of a secret addition into those catchlights. Now, I've done this a little bit before, but I've modified my technique a little bit. So how we've got this set up is that we've got Shay sitting on the stool. I'm going to move in and do a very close-up shot of her eye. And I've already apologised to Shay for getting in too close. I've got a large shower curtain here and a softbox lighting through that shower curtain. So that's going to give me a large catchlight in her eye, or as large as I can possibly do in this situation. Once I've done that, I'm going to get Greg with the camera in front of that shower curtain in a camera holding position so that he's silhouetted against that white shower curtain, which will make a picture of Andrew in that catchlight in Shay's eye. Okay, sounds very complicated, but it's not. I'm getting my Andrews, my Gregs mixed up all the time. I know which one's Shay because she's the one with the long hair. So here we go. We're going to start off, we're going to get Greg to come in, stand in front of that white background. Yeah, that's it. And I'm going to move in and do a very close-up shot of Shay's eye, and you'll see the results. Here we go, Shay. Lovely. Maybe lift your chin a little bit. Yep, that's it. Here we go. Great. I'm going to do one more, just in case I don't get my focus right. Shay's trying not to laugh at the moment, unsuccessfully. Okay, maybe open up your eyes a little bit more if you can. Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah, lovely. Okay, there we go. You can see that light in Shay's eye and the silhouette of Greg with the camera. You can arrange this in a number of different ways. You could put a statue in there, or you can put a vase of flowers, whatever you want to do, just to manipulate that light in your subject's eye. It's not really something that your client would probably love, but zooming in to have a look at that catchlight in the eye just gives it a little bit more interest. And it's good exercise and a good thing to stick in a video to keep people's interest. So if you see a portrait image and you like the lighting in that particular image, look at those catchlights and learn how the photographer did it. You can do the same thing by learning from those catchlights in those eyes. So no matter if you use natural light, outdoor flash, indoor flash, constant lighting, these catchlights are going to help you to learn more about lighting. Good luck with it all. I hope this video has helped you. If you're interested in this content or similar content about photography and lighting, please subscribe to the channel. You can hit the notification bell, you can give me a like. All of these things are going to help me to be able to produce more content of this style for you. If there's anything you want to comment about, please feel free to do that. I answer all of the comments that I get on these YouTube videos, and it allows you to maybe fill in some of the gaps in what I've taught you in this video, because we've only got a limited time to do this stuff. So please comment below. Again, it helps the YouTube algorithm to pick up these videos and to distribute them to more people who may benefit from this sort of content.